positive stuff, and this is to do with the good work of our UK column viewers. And a gentleman called Gary sent me an email, and I'm really going to take you through his email because it's very, very interesting indeed. It's to do with the company AccuRx, which I spoke about a couple of days ago. This is the company which is taking data from GPs and making appointments for people. He said, this is something I wrote in September 2020. At that time, I was getting many prompts to use AccuRx, so I looked into them as best I could, then promptly filed it and forgot it. You might find this interesting. Well, Gary, you're absolutely right, because I found it fascinating. It says that AccuRx is collecting what's called structured QOF data, that's quality of outcomes framework money. Now, this is anecdotal because it's a quote from a doctor, but basically he was saying he used the system for 2 weeks, 50 texts were sent out, and that produced him £2,000 of QOF monies. And then it is claimed here that each QOF point is worth £194.83. So data becomes money, is what we're being told. Here's some of the information that's going to be collected about you. Anything from asthma to whether you smoke, alcohol intake, blood pressure, flu vaccination, plus your name, date of birth, NHS number, mobile address, email address, demographic data. Plus, I found this particularly interesting, correspondence between you and your healthcare professional and between healthcare professionals about you. Now, this is all coming from the email. Everything I've seen looks to be well researched, but if there's more people out there that can check this, that will be very good. Add in another bit here. It says you can't use the NHS National Data Opt-out to stop AccuRx receiving your data. However, the NHS's data controllers can, and they have a department which does exactly that, the Clinical Research Datalink, or CPRD, and it received more than 10 million in revenue last year. Now, Debbie has already mentioned this organisation, but just so we know what we're looking at, first of all, the scale of AccuRx, 98% of all GPs in England are using this system, so our data is being hoovered up. But here's CPRD, 60 million patients, including 18 million currently registered, but this comes straight back to the MHRA that has failed everybody in terms of safety over vaccines. And here we are, CPRD has developed world-leading services based on using real-world data to support clinical trials and interventional studies. So this data is not being put to good use for the patient in the first instance or our health. It's being used to support clinical trials, and I think that says it all. Well, we'll end on this one, which is more happy news. Thank you very much to Linda for sending this through. Several people told me about this. The BBC has had to ask, why has Radio 4 listenership dropped? Please give us feedback, says the BBC. Why do you think this is happening? Well, lots and lots of people commented. We've just picked up on one here. This gentleman, Daniel Fuchs, said, I loved Radio 4 and all its news programmes for over 30 years, but your coverage of the Corbyn years exposed you as a cheap little propaganda outfit that peddles lies. Hope that helps. So it's been very clear that the public are really telling the BBC what they think about them, and I would imagine that the BBC managers are beginning to get even more wobbly. We need to end it there.
Yes.
Okay, Vanessa, thank you very much for joining us. For those of you that are subscribers of UK Column, join us in a few minutes for extra time. We will be dealing with some of those matters to do with Syria and banks in a little bit more detail, but also having a little bit of fun. We must end there. Thank you all very much, particularly people who are supporting the UK Column financially. We can only do what we do with your financial support. Thank you all very much. And we'll be back at the same time on Monday. See you then. Bye-bye.